Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the core team, Mental Health Webinar Series, and the organizer, the Department of Psychology, the American College Madurai, and the associating partners, Madras School of Social Work, Chennai, Red Pond Educational and Psychological Research Center, Madurai, MS Chellamuthu Institute of Mental Health and Rehabilitation, Madurai, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, Madurai, and Psycho-Oncological Association, Turkey. We welcome you all, the participants and the resource person of today, for today's session on psychosocial aspects of stress, gender and well-being. And today we have Dr. Jayakumar sir with us. He's currently working as an assistant professor at the Periyar University since 2010, and he is an expert in social psychology, organizational behavior, training and development, HR, and industrial psychology. He has also has work experience as a lecturer in Department of Psychology, Christ University, and he has also worked in the Department of Psychology as a lecturer at PSG College of Arts and Science and at Bharatiyar University. He has his PhD in psychology, and he has also guided PhD scholars for doing their thesis, and he's a member of professional bodies like Indian Association of Clinical Psychologists and Indian Academy of Applied Psychology. He's the author of 26 articles published in national and international journals, and he has also authored 7 chapters in the books, and he's an author of 1 book. So with all these rich credentials, we welcome you to the session today, sir. We are very happy to have you here. Thanks for being here, and now I hand over the session to you. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Chandra Madam, and the organizers for conducting this program. And it's my pleasure for the second time to be associated with your group. And today's topic is on psychosocial aspects of stress. Am I audible? Can people actually hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Thank you, sir.
Right. So I'll just start sharing. Yeah.
We can see your slides, sir.
Huh? Yeah, madam?
I confirm that we can see your slide.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, this is more talked about topic when it comes to stress. It is stressful to find something new in stress because stress is everywhere, and we have actually seen there are a lot of research work that has happened in the area of stress. So when we actually talk about stress, more has been done. Almost all the aspects of stress and the triggers of stress of various natures, whether it is biological, psychological, or sociological, has been actually identified. And much research has made progress in understanding the concept of stress and its implications or consequences on the individual. But very interestingly, what is remaining to be said in stress is the context. So the context keeps changing. The context keeps changing. And the changed concepts influence on the stress and stress perception has to be studied. This is actually the whole idea now. Okay, so in the context of today's world, I will be actually trying to see or share my thoughts on the psychosocial aspects of stress. Okay, right. Yeah. So now we have to understand that how is our world functioning? How is our world functioning? And what happens is, when I'm talking about how is the world functioning, the functioning of the world has multiple contexts, multiple dimensions. And what happens is here, earlier, before Corona or COVID-19 pandemic, the world was actually set in a pattern. Okay, the world was actually working in a particular pattern, and we considered that to be normal. And we were going to school, we were actually going to work, and we were out there in the society, and people were moving around, and so much of industry and industrialization and industrial pollution and all those things that was actually happening. We were actually living in a smoky world, and we thought that that was actually normal. And slowly, some progress was actually made in the Internet of Things, that is using internet and other things and all. And there was actually not much pressure on the human beings to actually switch on to the renewable energy, or actually using internet as a major source of work, or actually communication, or getting things done. So that was actually very much limited. Okay, but what happened was, here comes Corona, and when Corona came, what happened is that things actually changed in such a way that it became very difficult for people to cope. And it was easy for people to book tickets, train tickets or bus tickets, or actually order food in internet using apps, computer apps. And hardly or very rarely people thought of attending to online classes, or actually hardly people thought of working through the internet. So, but that is one thing, that major shift happened. And when you actually refer to other ideas coming from World Economic Forum and other places, and it is said that the situation, the change was such that it was so dramatic, and it was so fast, quick, that which normally would have taken 10 years for us to actually have this online classes, to have students listen to online classes, to get things done through online modes. It has been compressed, and it has actually, done in a jiffy. That is, within 1 year, within less than 1 year, the world has to switch over to other ways of doing things. And now what happens is, once the Corona pandemic relents, that we are trying to getting back to normal. The question arises, can we go back to normal? And if we are going back to normal, what normal is that? Is that really possible? Or will that be really possible for us to go to the previous normal, way of life? And or will this also, whatever that we have actually picked up, whatever that we have actually learned for 1 year using internet and other concepts, are we actually going to have a mix of both the old and the new? And maybe we call that as a new normal. So it will be very difficult for us to go back to the old normal, but actually the new normal is here to stay. And even though we are actually starting the classes, online classes, but still offline classes like this will be existing, and it will be actually there to participate. And what are the consequences on this? So the consequences of Corona, or the present crisis, have actually on multiple spheres of life, on the countries, on the nations, on the individuals, on the economy, on everything. It has actually made a big impact. And the major thing that when we talk about big, huge impact, it is on the GDP, because of job loss, because of business loss, because of the economical downturn. Then the GDP has actually taken a hitting, and many of the countries have actually gone to negative GDP. And when it comes to this gross domestic productivity, when there is actually not much of manufacturing and all those stuff, then automatically the capacity, the buying capacity of the individuals actually, or the citizens of the country, has become so pathetic that they have to depend on or look upon the government to actually take care of them. And coming to the next aspect, that is another dimension of the the Corona, environmental consequences. And that is actually, if you see the picture there, which the cartoon picture on the slide, it actually shows a positive Corona. That before Corona, what happened was that the life was very difficult, and it was actually smoke and dust and pollution everywhere. And now what happens is it has actually reduced. And there are actually lots of studies which says that there are actually more than 20 to 25% of the quality of air has actually become better. And the pollution has reduced to 20% to 30%. The water pollution has actually come down, and the air quality has actually improved. So what happens is this, on the environmental side, it is definitely a win situation because of the Corona. But what happens is, in between is got the human beings, because humans are the people who are the reasons for the economical aspect or economical business that is happening. And what happens is humans are caught between the economical development and the environmental price that they might be paying for the economic development. So how much to look for economical improvement, and how much to sacrifice the environmental aspects. And this creates unexpected or undue pressure on the human beings. So humans have to adjust or adapt. And that is what we have actually done. That when the classes were cancelled, and slowly, what happened was that children were actually brought into online platforms, and teachers were actually equipped to actually handle the online classes. So what happens is there is actually a pressure either to adjust or adapt, or if they are not able to adjust or adapt, then automatically they are out of this business itself, or they are actually going to find it very difficult to survive. And what happens is, in this whole process of actually survival, or actually what Darwin said, that survival of the fittest, that we have to seriously look at the alternatives, and we have to learn and adjust. And not everybody is capable of doing it. That is one thing that we have to understand. And it creates some bit of pressure. It could be either physical pressure, or it could be psychological pressure, or it could be social pressure, coming from different angles, coming from the families, coming from the work environment, coming from the academic environment, coming from vocational environment. So many things are actually coming. So here what happens is that, depending upon who you are, whether you are young and you are actually having a bent of mind to deal with the computers, or that you are actually in the middle age who are still struggling to actually get hold of the internet and the usage of online gadgets, or you are actually in the older category, older age, that you find it very difficult to adjust and adapt, because you have already set in rigid patterns of your behavior. So what happens is, depending upon your age, depending upon where you are, or society, or your natural bent of mind or inclination, that says that whether you are going to experience stress or distress. And very interestingly, younger generations, people who are in their 20s and 30s or lesser than that, they will not find much difficulty in adjusting to this kind of a demand. And the people who are in the middle ages will find it severely stressful. And people who are actually in the old age, or people who don't understand this nitty-gritty of this technology, they will definitely experience distress. Right. So now, there are actually, you just Google and find what is stress. You will just actually get stressed out to find out the best definition of stress. And rather than checking on that, I thought that, okay, let me only actually come up with something which is very simple, so that anybody and everybody can understand it. It is a feeling of psychological tension. You can actually feel that there is tension. You feel uneasy, anxious, or uncomfortable. So that is what stress is. There is actually a gap between what is expected. There is actually a problem which is actually coming from the external or internal world. And do you have resources to face that? If you don't have the resources to face that, then there is actually a gap. And if the gap is of inadequacy, then automatically you feel the pressure. That is what actually stress is all about. Okay. So there is actually a gap between the high demand and low resource. So then you feel the stress. And the stress responses are of different types. That psychological response that we give, physical response that we give, or social response that we give. Okay, so when it comes to psychological response, what happens is our emotions, affection or affective is our emotions, behavior is our what we manifest, what we do, and cognition is what we think. So what happens is that we respond to a stressful situation through our emotions or through behaviors or actually through our thinking or actually in combination of all these three things. Okay, and the physical response to stress is to run away from that or actually fight or flight reaction. Then social response will be that either to be in the relationship or not to be in the relationship, other to actually continue with the individual in or continue in the office or actually just get out of the office or actually be with the people or not to be with the people. So it can actually come up with different types of responses, stress responses. We can come up with. Yeah. So this is actually one of the very oldest model of stress given by Hans Selye. How it starts over a period of time. First, when there is actually a stressful situation, the organism actually gathers itself and fights. And what happens is it resists. It resists. So, for example, what happens is that when there is an accident, or when there is actually an exam which is coming up, or when there is actually some demanding situation. So what happens is first the alarm reaction, but what depending upon the nature of stress that we actually try to fight it out or run away from the situation. And what happens is after some period of time, the body actually starts responding in such a way that it will resist continuously for some time, because as long as it has energy, psychological energy or physical energy or whatever it is, that we will be actually coping with that beautifully. But what happens is if the stress is continuous, it is chronic, what we call it is, then automatically, if we are not having enough resources on our side, then automatically we get exhausted and the body systems deteriorate, and it shows up in different ailments, or actually sometimes because of the stress that people might die also. Right. So I'm just actually trying to categorize the consequences, the diseases, or actually the illness or ill-being or the problems that human beings face because of stress. So here what happens is that for our convenience, that I have actually categorized into biological, psychological, and sociological. So biological, see, we cannot actually say that, okay, it is purely biological or purely psychological or purely sociological. All these things are interrelated. And what happens is here, biological, for the sake of, because under this biological consequence, ulcers, high BP, allergic reactions, arthritis, cardiovascular diseases, heart attacks, strokes, obesity, menstrual problems, diabetes. And under the psychological consequences, anger, irritability, restlessness, anxiety, depression, substance use or abuse, sleep problems, confusion, tension, so many other things. And sociological is basically interpersonal relations problems, either at home or at school or work or the society. And what happens is it could be psychosomatic, okay, or it could be sociologically triggered. It could be anything, and almost all diseases, except for organic diseases, almost all the problems are caused because of stress. That we have to understand. Right. So now coming to this, because the topic is psychosocial aspects of stress, gender, okay, and coping. So what happens is here that basically we all know that we are different based on our biological makeup. And when we talk about the reproductive line, that is actually male, female, then biologically most of us are male, most of us are female. There are actually a few people who are called as hermaphrodites, and these people are having the biological aspect of both male and female genital aspects. So what happens is that their physical characteristics, the physiological characteristics, all these things are deeply rooted in the biological nature of the individual. And next is the gender differences. So what happens is when the biology, the body makeup is different based on the nature, gender differences talks about that the socially given or culturally entrusted, okay, differences, okay, so boy, man, and girl, woman, right, and LGBTQ. So what happens is the family, the culture, the religion, the language, all these things actually try to segregate people based on the biological difference. And what happens is when it comes to gender differences, in biological differences, there is no, what is it, better thing, because it is all mutually compensating or mutually complementing each other. But when it comes to gender differences, man actually tends to actually think that or actually behave in such a way that one gender is better than the other. And that has been actually followed over a period of time, thousands of years. And what happens is that has been still followed in practice. And that creates actually stress that we have to understand. Now, coming to the psychological difference. Because of this gender differences, what happens is because of so many other social structures, the family, the religion, and all those things, men and women are actually said to be having, or actually entrusted or trust to be having, or forced to have certain qualities, like boy or man, okay, supposed to be strong, independent, assertive, courageous, dominating, rude, stubborn, and physical look does not matter. But what happens is feminine words, if you are feminine, then automatically just the opposite of the thing. Okay, so what happens is that they are weak, they are dependent and not assertive. Okay, they are actually not courageous, they are modest. They have to be modest, polite, accommodating, having actually, and giving importance to physical looks. Okay, all these things. And what happens is this psychological differences, okay, which is sort of, what is it, drilled into the psyche or mind of the boys and girls by the family and the society. And it is sustained by other social structures. Okay, brings in the, what is it, inequality, and it creates stress that we have to understand. And now, coming to this gender. So this is a situation. The situation, the couple, a man and a woman, they are actually suddenly ambushed by the tiger. And both of them are actually stressed, and both of them are running for life. And the tiger, which is a stressor, does not differentiate whether it is a male meat or the female meat. All it wants is the food, the meat. And what happens is the reaction to the stressor is running, it's flight. And this flight is not based on the gender. It is based on the biological makeup or biological existence. Whether it is husband or wife or actually man or woman, both of them have to run to save their life. That is what it is. And what happens is that here, no gender differences are seen. But when it comes to work at home, when it comes to taking care of home or actually other things related to domestic aspects, and what happens is only the man runs away in most of the patriarchal society, not all the society. In the patriarchal society, that men is not bothered, men are not bothered, man is not bothered to actually face the stress at the domestic front. And what happens is, it is the responsibility again of the woman to actually face the, stress. And here, there is a clear gender difference because when it comes to work, there is no gendered work. A man can wash the clothes, a man can actually wash the vessels, and he can actually clean the house, or he can do all the things a woman can do except for the biological thing that giving birth or feeding the baby. Except for these two things, all the things man can do. But what happens is man does not involve himself because as a boy, they were being raised that men are not supposed to be doing this, and it is the responsibility of the women to take care of it, and it adds to the stress because here comes the gender difference, how the society has brought in a structure, and that structure is actually giving some bit of relief to men and no amount of relief for women, because from particularly working women, immediately they go from work to home and immediately they have to take care of the family. That is actually more important. Okay, that is how they have been trained. Now coming to this again, you see in the work front. Okay, so that is actually home front. In the work front, what happens is work and responsibility and pay and promotion. There is for equal work, there is an unequal pay, there is an unequal promotion. That is what actually creating stress for stress difference based on the gender. And everybody knows that what are the ways in which men take advantage and women are actually at the receiving end. Okay, right. Yes, today's stress is more often man-made than woman-made. That we have to understand. See, we think that, okay, both men and women, this society, which is actually, established by the religious structures, by the prophecies, by so many other ideas, says that both men and women are equal. But very unfortunately, particularly in the patriarchal society and patriarchal culture or traditional culture, conventional culture, it actually, this is what it is. Men find it much more easier to run than women because women have more responsibilities than men. Okay, and this is an unequal race. And who actually created this gender difference in perceiving stress or responding to stress is man. And very unfortunately, what happens is women have sort of accepted this. Women have sort of accepted this, and they think that, okay, that is what their life is, to actually play the second fiddle to the man at home. Now, why this is not moving? This is not moving. Sandra madam?
Yeah, sir, I could see the slide. Today's stress is more man-made than women-made.
Yeah, no, it's not actually. I want to move to the next slide. It's not happening.
So just keep the cursor on the screen and just give a downward arrow, sir. May it work?
Hello, sir. Ananya here. I think
Yes,
yeah.
it has come up.
Now it's okay, sir.
Right. So, yes, this is the next one. And gender difference in stress and coping. And I was actually looking for some material because there are actually so many thousands and thousands of materials about stress. And very interestingly, I thought that let me actually check out the APA website, and I took this content from APA, American Psychological Association. Differences in stress perception. Normally, we think that actually men are worried about money, but very interestingly, more than that, women are worried. So stress perception about the worry of money is more for women compared to men. And about worry about work is more for men. So men worry about their work and women worry about their money, or actually about the money. Right. So what happens is here that it could be because that women are getting less of salary or actually less of money when compared to men. Okay, could be. And coming to the stress coping, how both the genders, both male and female, very interestingly, have a very different perception of stress coping mechanism. Men are less concerned about managing stress. When stress comes, they are not bothered much, but they say that they are doing enough. I have actually done this. I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm managing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Men actually boast of their ability of doing things to control the stress. That is one thing. And very interestingly, what women do is, women think that they are supposed to be doing, there is a need to do stress management or manage the stress, but they feel that they are not doing enough. And what happens is that there is actually a gender shift in the perception. Men are not bothered, but they go around saying that they are actually doing it. They are managing the stress. But women wanted to do in reality, but they are not, they are feeling that they are not doing it enough, right? So what happens is women have more of reality orientation, reality check or insight about what they are doing, and men don't have that. Men, they think that, okay, they are taking things for granted. And very interestingly, what happens is the studies actually says that women are more stressed than men, okay? And coming to this again, the same thing, gender differences in the responses. Women report physical and emotional symptoms of stress than men. Women experience more headaches compared to men. Women more often feel like crying than men. It's almost 3 times, triple the times of that they are actually feeling like crying. And if you see that the way the children are raised, that men are not supposed to, boys are not supposed to be crying, and girls are supposed to be crying. Girls can cry, and it is the license to cry. Girls have the license to cry. So that is the reason why it has actually come out, which is because of the way that we have raised the children. And women had more upset stomach and indigestion compared to men, because they actually internalize more compared to men. And very interestingly, compared to the single women, married women report more stress than single women, right? So marriage is more stressful experience for women than for men, and than for the single women also. Married women reported more irritability, anger, headaches, and fatigues than single women. This is another interesting, because what happens is that I still remember that in 2010, there was actually an international conference at Niemann's, and there was an international study which was done across the globe by an author from Australia. and she actually came. I don't remember that name or actually the title, but one thing the slides which I remember is that she said that widows are more happier. Widows are more happier. If men die in marriages, okay, particularly in the middle age or in the old age women or middle-aged women, they are more happier than the what is it, the married counterparts. That is what, and no wonder that it has actually come up something like this, because men are the stressors for the women in marriage. Okay, then men report less stress compared to women, and this is actually one interesting study which says that stress doesn't have any effect on our physical health. This is what actually the perception. Men have this kind of a perception, and women have the perception that stress is actually having a negative effect on their physical or psychological or social well-being. And men in denial mode than women. And men don't want to acknowledge that stress can negatively influence their health. So next, this is quite interesting study by a neuroscientist, which was published in Molecular Psychiatry, journal Molecular Psychiatry, by Dr. Rita Valentino. And what actually she did was that she actually wanted to know the gender difference in stress. And because as many studies that we do using human participants, there will always be an influence of the society, because the gender is such a strong influencing factor that it will always show up in the way that stress is perceived or stress is responded to. And to get a male and female participant for the study with zero cultural or social or gender differences, as we have, rats or animals are the best participants. So what Dr. Rita Valentino did is, it happened, she did in Philadelphia Children's Hospital, that she actually made the male and the female rats to swim for a longer period of time. And what happened, what she found is that this particular hormone, that is corticotrophin, which is actually responsible for our stress reactions, organizing our body for stress reactions. This particular hormone related to stress and its management, corticotrophin releasing factor, is secreted in both male and female rats. And for human beings, it is actually secreted in the hypothalamus, okay, just above the pituitary gland. And what happens is, when this is actually secreted, female rats become so sensitive and overwhelmed by the surge of this hormone, and they find it very difficult to control that. They control their responses during stress, and that is why that that rattus, that I have actually put that rat, the female rat, and the male rat is, it doesn't bother. Okay, even though the CRF comes, that is corticotrophin hormone, is actually surging in the head, it is actually pumped, that hormone is pumped, the responses is much more controlled or regulated in the male rats than the female rats. So this explains the biological reasons why males are less affected by stress than the females. This is based purely on the biological nature of the species. So female rats are twice susceptible to stress compared with male rats. So women actually are more stressed in the, I'm just extrapolating it, that we can consider that biologically women are more prone to stress and its negative effects. But what happens is man has created equally a structure, like a biological structure, which constantly influences, and these two, women suffer most than men. That is this. Every society has some guidelines or principles or some scriptures or some value, okay, religious values or whatever it is, which is guiding the way the children are raised. Boys are raised differently, girls are raised differently, and particularly in a patriarchal society, because majority of the societies in the world are patriarchal in nature. So they actually developed a standard operating procedures. It is like you buy a TV, or you buy a mobile phone, or actually you buy any of the gadgets, any of the equipments. Immediately there is a manual which is given how to use this, what are the ways that you can use it. So what happens is the same way there is a manual which is actually given, or actually the handout, or actually something information which is given to the family into their heads, particularly the parents and the family and the society, by the structure, social structure, that boys should be raised like this, girls should be raised like this. So what happens is, that is the reason why women find it very difficult to reach the heights men have reached long back. And sometimes women find it very lucky if they are alive, because many of the girl children or infants are killed, or what we call infanticide. So what happens is, when they are in the birth only, or before birth also, they are about knowing the gender, they are about. So what happens is that the society that man has created is a gender-wise skewed society. How much ever we say that, okay, both men and women are equal, but there can never be a point where we can equally say that both men and women are, or boys and girls are equal. And it is as rigid and strong and rooted into our head as that of biological differences. And that will always guide how a man should behave, how a woman should behave, and a woman should always play the secondary role or a supportive role to the man than the other way around. That is one thing that we have to understand. Right. So this is what the religious or actually whatever structure that we talk about, the social structure. We have actually gender stereotypes, we have actually religious paradoxes, we have actually caste systems, and all these things talk about patriarchy, the way that women are actually made to be the secondary ones to the powerful males. And it is how this structure has been so neatly, clearly embedded into the heads of every man and every woman, every boy child and every girl child, then automatically they will behave according to the standard operating procedures that is given to them by these kind of social structures, which has evolved long time before, hundreds and thousands of years before, or actually 3,000 years, 2,000 years before, how all these things actually happen. And it is very difficult to, break this and behave differently. How much ever actually one or two incidences are there which will actually question this social structures, which is more stressful to one gender than to another, and immediately they are punished either through harsh punishments or actually through advices and soft punishments. But either way, they have to follow or fall in line. Right. So how to help to cope with stress? How to help? Sorry, there is actually a sentence mistake. So how to help to cope? That is true. How to help to cope with stress? So the answer is differently, because biological wise, there are differences, and man-made social aspect wise also, there are actually differences. So what happens is, some of the things that highlights that we have to understand is, for women and men, the common thing is both of them are actually having a very poor willpower when it comes to dealing with stress. Unless actually something pushed them to the wall, against the wall, or pushed, they are cornered, they will not actually do it. And naturally, stress busters for women will be like spending time with family and friends. And they will be more happier or stress-free if they are helped at kitchen doing the household chores. They will be, because what has deeply ingrained into their heads, women's or girls' head, is that kitchen is my office. Kitchen is my place. And if somebody can help me in my office, my space, then I will be stressed. And she finds it, or women find it very difficult to say that kitchen is also a common place, like a living room or a dining room or whatever room. And kitchen also can, both men and women can equally participate and do that. They will find it very difficult, because the onus or responsibility is always there on the shoulders of the women. That is one thing. And for men, as I said, yes, they also don't have much motivation to face the stress unless they are forced to. And many of the men, they do exercise because they don't have anything else to do. Why they are actually going to walk in the morning? Not because of reducing their, the tummy, or actually reducing their, or improving their health. No. It is only to socialize, or just for the sake of going, or they don't know what else to do, so they are actually going. So everybody is going, so they are also going. Okay, so that is how it is. Then, coming to coping mechanisms, as we said, that we have to consider that there is a biological difference, and there is an ingrained, skewed, unjustified, irrational gender differences made by men. Considering these two facts, that these techniques can be used, and many of us are aware of this, and we are using it. One is, we have to understand that stress and distress, whenever there is a stressor, for example, for students, suddenly an exam coming, that is a stressor. For the worker, a threat to lose the job could be a stressor. Or it could be a simple thing like you are in a hurry and you are late to the office and you are missing the bus, and there is only one, and be here, sort of a stress. So stress can be short term, or it could be a long term. But so stressor is the problem. Okay, so trying to adjust, I'm finding it so stressful to stay in my office. Then the problem focused approach will be to change the office, move out of the office. That is what it is. But emotion focused approach will be, if I'm finding it very stressful to be in the office, I have to work on myself, change my mind in such a way that I start accepting to work in the office. That is what emotion focused approach is. So problem focused approach, these are the things that I have listed out. Managing the stressor, work on time management, asking for support or delegating the responsibilities, establishing healthy boundaries between people, changing the situation stereotypes, nurturing simple healthy look than a wealthy look. Okay, and this is one thing of late which has come after the Black Lives Matter protest, that why dark skinned people are not beautiful, only fair skinned people are beautiful. And now what happens is that all the fair and lovely has actually changed, that glow and healthy, or actually something like that, shine and all those things. They are actually not insisting on one skin color over the other. And even if you buy and apply also, there will not be any reply. Okay, So you will never become actually fairer one unless we actually change our mindset on cosmetics. Okay. So nurturing simple, healthy look is more important than the wealthy look. And being assertive, that Dale Gunn is saying that don't say yes when you want to say no. Don't take up too many things which you cannot actually manage, which I find it very difficult sometimes because is easily said, but very difficult to practice. Then understand your life is important and not to sacrifice to uphold social oppression procedures, standard operating procedures, because the society or the culture or the tradition or the custom or the practices, all these things are saying that I should be like this. I should be playing this kind of a role. Problem focused is I don't want to subscribe to that kind of an idea. I don't want to subscribe to that kind of an idea which is irrational. I will subscribe or evolve a new norm where both are equal. I like that. So that way we have to put down and actually stand there, then it will be less stressful. Initially that will create trouble, but still in the long run, then people will understand and things will be better. Then emotion focused approaches, managing our responses. That is earlier the managing our stress, managing our response. So working on ourselves, not on the stress, improving our health, like going for a walk or actually doing exercises, healthy habits, sleeping habits or eating habits or whatever it is, positive self-talk, reading, meditating, playing games with the kids, spending time with family, creating a calm zone, engaging in a hobby. All these things are how you work on yourself, and it can actually bring in some bit of relief, and in the long run, a big amount of relief. And Fitzgerald's empty chair. Before reacting, we can always sit in an empty chair and we can actually give some time what has happened, how we should respond, how not to respond. And this Fitzgerald's thing, Fritz Perls' idea of this empty chair has actually sorted many of the cases, many of the problems by allowing the individual to engage in the self-talk, talking to ourselves and finding solutions. So thank you so much. And I think that I have taken 45 minutes time. And if you have any doubts, you can always ask, feel free to.
Thank you very much, Jayakumar sir, for a very insightful presentation. You have very neatly and nicely explained what is the barrier between men and women gender and how to overcome and cope with the stress that we have in our day-to-day lives. So now it's time for the participants to ask their queries to you, and I request the participants to unmute to give your feedback or share your thoughts on this topic or ask for questions, or put your questions in the chat box. We can discuss. Thank you.
Yeah, you can ask. You can ask in Tamil also, not a problem. Feel comfortable. Language should not be a cause of stress for us. Feel free.
Thank you for seconding it, sir. We keep always telling this in our sessions. It is not a barrier. You can always translate, sir. So participants, it's just for you. Please feel free to express your opinions or ask your questions.
Somebody has, thank God my wife is not attending today's webinar. So he has become so scared.
Sir, we have got our first
So
question now,
don't
sir.
feel insecure. Don't feel insecure. Okay. So we cannot actually control women, or we should not control women based on these social structures. We can actually work with them, work with our children, particularly daughters, or actually wife. I'm not talking about wives, okay? Wife, out of love. Okay. Some pressure.
Sir, irrespective of men or women, why do that attitude of taking control over each other happen, sir, in your opinion?
As this Rita's work, that biologically there are certain hormones, okay, corticotropin. That is actually the reason that how we actually adjust to the stress, okay. And biologically, male rats are having control over how they respond to the stress. And similarly, men have the attitude to control. Because what happens is, many of the psychological theories, particularly if you read Jung's theory, okay, Carl Jung's theory, and he actually talks that men have a need to control. That need is unconscious. The need to control is unconscious. That is the reason that men always actually experiment trying to kill big animals, domesticate the wild animals, or actually get the big moped or bike or something like that, and they go like that, okay, or big machines, okay, or big guns and all those things. That is actually modern day of showing that I am fulfilling the need to control something which is much larger than me. And similarly, if you just go to Vedic period, the same need to control the elements, what is it, sacred fire was actually started. We talk about yagnas, right? All those things. Why? Because Panja Bodhangala Adaki Alam. So they want to control the 5 elements. So there is a need in him. And it takes different shapes and forms, and they actually involve themselves into it. So unless they are actually confronted, unless they are, discussed, okay, it will be very difficult for them to accept this. And they have to be confronted, and awareness has to be created. Yes, there is a need, but still you can actually work it over. That no need to control, show your control on the weaker, or biologically weaker cells. But nature has to be created both of them as equals, right? So that kind of awareness has to come. If that is there, then automatically the attitude will change. But the social structures will not allow that to happen. And the people who are behind the social structures, they will not allow this to happen. Because if that is allowed to happen, a sort of insecurity that one of the participants has raised, that thank God my wife is not attending today's webinar, because that inadequacy, insecurity will catch hold of those people who are propagating these social structures, and they will become jobless, and they will not know what to do and what to control. So they will hold on to that and they will control it. And that is how it is constantly, again and again, it keeps coming. Because it is actually a much larger picture. We are all micro in the social structure.
Sir, if I may.
Yeah.
Sir, I think I have put that point in a very lighter way.
Yeah.
In a jovial mood, but what you're remarking is not correct. It is like insecurity, is one run away.
No, I'm
slightly offended by your
not generalizing it. I'm not generalizing it.
It is not correct, sir. Like what you're saying is repeatedly you're saying. I already put
Can you
the
be
current
louder
sense,
now?
I put it in the lighter vein, in the lighter like
Yeah,
side.
yeah, please.
And I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah.
But what you are saying is like, you know, easy, like the one person has put it like, you know, yeah, thank God, or like, you know, I just, you should have a good sense of humor, but you cannot make a comment.
Yeah, that is very important. That is very important, sir. I just agree 100% with you, because what happens is the self-realization, the spiritual realization that all beings are equal, and accepting that and moving forward, that is the best solution to all these problems. That is more important, I think.
And also, sir, like what I understand is I fully agree with you. Like what you said in this presentation, yes, the women are more stressed, the men are little relaxed. I'm agreeing with you. But it is your presentation shows the men in the poor light. The presentation should never be like this.
No.
It is
That is
over
your
a period
perception,
of
sir. That is your perception, because I'm not actually generalizing on all men. I'm also actually part of that. So I'm saying when we are actually talking about these things, we are not generalizing. There will always be exceptions. There are actually a good amount of men who actually understand this, or actually they are aware because of some reasons, and they actually treat others equal. There are lots of people, but what happens is when you sit for counseling, when you look at the things that is actually happening in the society by watching the news or whatever it is, what happens is it could have actually progressed much farther than where we are right now. We could have actually gone a long way back, long way forward, but we are actually still struggling. That is what the whole idea is. I agree with you, sir. I totally agree with you. I'm not actually showing it is actually more of a, as you said, it is a humorous way of actually saying that, okay, men are doing this, men are doing this, men are doing this. But actually, it is we in the sense, not all of us, some of us. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to say, sir?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Right.
I was a bit like, you know, when the presentation, when I was seeing it, whatever you said, it is all, it's true. There is nothing debatable. But I felt it, like, no, the tone was slightly
I'm so happy. I'm so glad that, see, it's been actually almost 1 year that we are doing lots of programs, not only with this program, there are other programs. There is literally zero participation in the webinars, sir. That is a sad thing. Nobody participates. And I'm so glad that people like you who are actually coming and actually clarifying the doubts, or actually having a counterpoint and saying, giving a contrast view of things. I just love it. So I have to thank you first. Okay. And when I'm saying that men, it is not generalized as men. And when we are talking about women, again, women are not generalized. There are actually good amount of, women who have actually broken the barriers and actually moved up in life and in the society. Right. So it is actually the studies that we are actually talking about, the representation, few of them, representation. This is how it is happening now. And you see that I was actually coming home. Daily I'm seeing the lorries, which is coming from North India, which says that Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Right? So save the girls, educate the girls' child. And almost all the vehicles, it is all written in Hindi. Very interestingly, what happens is, why there is a need to say this? What has caused to say this? That actually makes us to think, yes, there is something which is not all that fine. A long way to go, long way to go. Why not beta? Why only Beti? Why only women are actually, females, are actually killed? Why girl children are actually killed before they were born? Why did India ban the sex, identification scans? Why did we do that? Why did we do that? because it is going against them.
Jay, can I add on?
Yeah, madam, please.
I'm
Please,
very
ma'am.
happy that you have spoken very important topic today. I was eagerly waiting for you, but since I was traveling, I could only listen. I couldn't interact much. And the
Okay, ma'am.
previous participant, I think Mr. Mittu, has mentioned about, I could see that he's, I also feel it is an author's view. We have to really accept whatever the researcher and author says, because it is their field, what they have done, and they're,
Yeah.
representing. And in that
Yeah.
point, that if you would have given Mr. Muthu that you have every right to say that thank God my wife is not there, but you would have added with a clear communication in a lighter sense there itself.
Yeah.
In that case, I would have not, or any would have not actually misunderstood that. So there is a way how we are portraying is very important.
Yes.
So there is always an author view is very important, and it may up to you to research it further, to either you take it away, I mean you deny it the point or accepting the point. It's my opinion,
Yes.
Mr. Muthu. I think no, any generalization in from a presentation shouldn't be there. Number one, in that case, even a comment with and kind of in such a note could be a little clearer. So it makes a lot of relevance for the presentation, because it is a very important stereotypical and stigmatized an attitude towards a gender he is presenting,
Yes.
which we can relate very well, and people who are in the field only understand that how it is difficult to destigmatize these aspects to
Yes, madam.
actually
Yeah.
accept that gender is something, is a very neutral aspect. How, when are we going to discuss all those? It is a neutral one. When it comes to psychotherapy, when it comes to counseling, we never look into gender as one of the aspects,
Yes.
unless it is very important. Why there should be an activist to talk about feminism? Why? Because of the suppression. So we have to really
Yeah.
understand that perspective. It is a very relevant and important topic which has been researched on. So I really agree with the point of what Jay said. And it is not about the presenters domination on that. No, it is their view. Any book, you have to take it from the author's view. If you are agreeing or disagreeing, it is your opinion. It shouldn't be an kind of an argument. It's my point of view. Thank you.
That
Mr.
is actually, yeah,
Thank you.
I
Jay,
totally
it was
agree,
a
ma'am,
wonderful.
because
Thank
this is
you,
coming
Jay.
from
That was a
a
wonderful.
woman. Yeah, because I'm so glad that it is coming from you, madam.
Because I know how men, not just men, how women are also suppressing women.
Yes.
Because of this, they had a traumatic relationship in their early years, and they were been in toxic relationship, been suppressed for a long time, and how they are also actually upbringing the women child with the same kind of an attitude. So I know how it is affecting the society on the whole. We must be
Yes.
really understanding this structure. There is something problem with the system itself. One
Yes.
side you are actually saying Mahadevi, Kali, Saraswati Ma, Parvati, all statues, and we are very powerful. You say Bharat Mata also.
Yes.
But the other side, there is no power for the women when it comes to decision making, when it comes to any kind of an important aspects of your family life. So I really agree with the point of the socio political structure. It is not just a psychosocial aspect. It is also a political structure we need to
No, I don't
really
want to
start
name
with.
that. I was actually going slow on that, going low on that. That I don't want to bring in that political aspects, because that influences, and our society is a hypocritic society. What they say outside, what they show for us is entirely different, contrast to what they have inside their head and what they do. So it is a
Yeah.
hypocritic society.
Yeah, we have to really make sure that, see, there are number of women counselors are working. I have done a research on this gender and women on power. If you really see that, it is really pathetic. They are not allowed to sit on the chair in front of the men in the,
Yes.
though they have been the lady counselors. What is
Yes.
the purpose of it? So I can talk in a length and breadth of this matter.
Yes, madam. I know.
Since it is a very important topic, I don't want it to barge in. And today you are
No,
the
you can
hero.
always actually take over, ma'am, because you have actually complementing information to this topic. So it is actually a beautiful thing that actually it only adds value to the presentation.
Power, women, especially women on power, if you really take it, it is very, very less. And though they have been given, only very few are able to establish their authority over the men. It is
Yes.
very difficult to extract men on work life or anything. It is been proven, and there are a lot of studies says the CEOs, women CEOs had a great difficulty to actually penetrate into an higher level. So this is something which we have to really think about. And I really want compliment on this topic itself, and then also really thankful for your wonderful presentation. This perspective has not been touched so far. And I really thank for Jay for this entire presentation, and also a wonderful research and biology behind the women and all that. So I really appreciate that. And please accept our gratitude from the Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai, and as well as Madras School of Social Work, MS Challamuthu Rehabilitation Center. I am giving you the gratitude from my side, but if someone has a question, please answer, Jay. Thank you.
So thank you so much, ma'am, being actually joining, coming and joining and adding your points. I'm thankful.
Sir, this is Chandra here. With huge respect, I
Yes,
really
madam.
appreciate the way you have balanced the questions, and we really loved it. And also, I'm very happy to be a part of this healthy discussion, actually. So I don't know about the outside world today or tomorrow, but on this session, we have seen gender equality, sir, talking on the same point beautifully and, equally respected. And also Muthu sir has given his message that he has really understood what it was, and he has said it in a lighter sense. And he has noted whatever you have discussed. Shankar Narayanan sir, I think your question has been answered between the discussion that happened between Jaykumar sir and Subha ma'am. If still your question is not answered, just let us know. Your question is, what is the difference between men and women in the social relationship? So do you have something to say, Jaykumar sir? We can discuss that for a minute and then we'll conclude, sir.
So what is the difference between men and women in social relationships?
Social relationship.
So what is intending? So that's what I want to know. Social relationship means friendship. Okay, social relationship could be what is it? We don't actually talk about marriage and other things involved. That is actually more of a family. But social relationship, when we talk about, it's a friendship, or actually having teacher-student relationship, or actually the boss-worker relationship, and all those things. And what happens is, because of the patriarchal society or patriarchal nature, or the gender differences, a man and a woman cannot actually work or cannot be as that of a man and a woman and a woman. That is what the difference is. A male boss and a female worker will not be seen as the male worker and the male boss. So something will be there will be enough room for gossip. So this is actually which this society has created. So that is what the difference is. So in social relationship, people are very cautious. You see that there are actually many of the marriages that has got cancelled because the girl has more number of friends in the in the Twitter or in the Facebook or in WhatsApp group. Many friends, particularly friends who happens to be boys. Many of the women are actually rejected in the marriage because they have lots of friendly relationship with people. But it is okay for a man to have any number of relationships, or girls also. Not a problem. That is not at all considered. So that is what actually how it shapes the social relationships. I have more advantage when it comes to interacting with all the people. I can interact comfortably with men. I can interact comfortably with madam. And other people, my seniors, my colleagues, or my juniors, even if they happen to be females, not a problem. I have so much of freedom. But if I happen to be a woman, my, relationship with others are very restricted to my gender. If I am a female, I actually connect only to females. And with the males, I have limitations. I cannot actually be equated with that of a man and a man-woman. There are limitations. The society will not see that way. How much ever progressive we say that we are not actually. That is what it is. So I hope that that's answered the question, hopefully.
Yes, sir. He clapped hands for your answer. And from what answers you have given now, I understand that it is not just one factor affecting the relationship socially, and it has to start from the individual's mindset, sir. So otherwise, I think we can't break the stereotype that is existing currently. So thank you very much for your patient and detailed answering for all our questions. And thank you all the participants for interacting so well with our resource person today. And now I request our core team member, Akshay Lakshmi, to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chandra ma'am. It's always a pleasure to attend sir's sessions. I used to just say, see his name and just come and attend his sessions always. And today, during the sessions, I felt that the structure that the presentation had, the flow of the session, and a clear understanding of what women go through. There are a lot of people who said why to speak about, and you even gave the answer for why we have to discuss about this. When women speak for women, it so happens that it is because of the arrogance, or sometimes you speak for yourself for the matter. But during your presentation, I felt the genuine, your experience in dealing with relationships, your experience in dealing with women problems or men. It's not, I didn't feel it one-sided, sir, right? It was mostly covering both, and what is the, and also it was more of realistic, more of reality content of few situations, incidents, all those things just felt like there was, personally, yes, I'm a psychologist, but then to see some men understand and really speak about these things outside in a very neat, structured way, I really fell in love with your presentation. It was a wonderful presentation, sir, and the way you had given us the answers for the questions, and as such, Subha ma'am said, it was a wonderful and a very insightful presentation, I would say, and I really loved the title as such. No one had touched this topic. It was a wonderful presentation. So thank you so much. My sincere gratitude to you on behalf of Dr. Suresh Kumar sir and our core team members and the American College Madurai. Thank you so much for being with us, sir. We would really like to have more sessions with you. I wish there are a lot of opportunities like that to attend your sessions. Thank you so much, sir.
So thank you so much. So good night to all.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Thank you, participants. We will meet again in our next session. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll meet.